The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Would you come if I asked you to bike with me on this one-way road that leads? I don't know, but I will take you anywhere you see. I know what you need, and what you've done is exactly what I
Out of Africa, man. Hey, that sounds Jamaican. Hey, James here. Welcome to Counterflow.
Hi, Alan, and we have here our special guest, the one who sang Counterflow.
Yeah.
The one who composed
The One-Way Road. Exactly.
One-Way Road, that's the name of the... He's
Yep.
here.
Already
in the
Lopez.
flesh.
Glad to be
Oh,
here.
man.
How's it going, everyone?
Sorry about the shorts. As I said, just came from
Africa.
From Africa, just pretty much straight off the plane and headed straight here because I wanted to share the exciting news. I didn't want you to wait till next week. Well, actually, I didn't want to wait till next week because wow, what an experience! I didn't even get to shave. See, this is just African balbas.
Yeah, the African style.
Yeah.
I
So
would say you smell like the jungle, though.
James hasn't taken a shower yet. He told me that he
No,
went straight
no,
from
it's,
the airport.
it's pretty intense. I'm pretty ripe right now. Just wanted to just check in and share this because we are going to be giving away an OtterBox later on in the show. So the only way to win that is to just hit us up either on the number 478-7954. Or you can hit us up on Twitter. That's at JDeacon72. And we would love to hear from you.
You should repeat the number, James.
Yeah,
You
it's
said that.
478-7954.
There.
And if you're from overseas, you can also get us on Skype. It is Mr.Counterflow. That's Mr.Counterflow, Counterflow. And we'd love to talk to you. So it's got to go to someone. May as well be you, all right? Best question, best interaction, best listener wins, put it that way.
That's correct.
Is it just me or am I sounding really hoarse?
You sound tired.
Yeah, it's a combination of fatigue and environmental change because I came just before Africa. I came through Le Mans in France. So I went from Manila to Paris, then Le Mans, and then Italy, and then back to Paris, back to Manila. I arrived in Manila on the 30th. By the 1st of July, I was out to Thailand, there was 3 days there, back 2 days here, and then into Africa. And Africa was...
And all these are motoring duties for James,
Absolutely. Everything was...
I thought you just took a vacation, no?
That's not my kind of vacation. My kind of vacation is a staycation. In my kind of job, it's like, you plan to stay in the country in your own bed, etc. But it was a really awesome experience. I was able to do the Ranger Odyssey challenge.
What is that?
I got to
James?
tell you about it. So can I have the floor for a little while? You don't mind?
Sure, of course.
Because they invite Artie all the way over here just to listen to me.
That's what I do all the time.
He's a professional listener. Well, aren't all husbands, right? But so I just needed an audience, so I brought him all the way from. Where'd you come from? From home?
Yeah.
All the way from Quezon City. Well, you know what? You're
like Africa.
Hey, the wildest things I saw in Africa has nothing on that ridiculous coding schema. No, seriously, the dumbest, craziest things I saw there, when I saw on Facebook that they're implementing this new, or trying to implement this new, I thought, oh, no, man, we've hit an all-new low.
That's
Yep.
I mean, it's really...
Everybody complaining in Twitter and Facebook saying
Why don't we
just...
talk about that for a little while first? Because Africa, once I start, that's it. It's going to go on. What the hell are they thinking? What's up with that? I saw the plan is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then just goes back. And you're supposed to code.
I don't know.
The cars
crazy.
is going to multiply, my man.
The cars are going to multiply, and the ones who are the most affected are the ones who are middle class who can't afford to get their second or third car. So we're back to square one. You're just penalizing the middle class. How do you even come up with it's one thing to come up with a harebrained scheme like that. It's another thing to actually pitch it to your council, and another thing to actually say, "Yep, this will work. Let's press release this stuff."
Yeah, implement it.
They can't implement it yet, right? I missed part of the news. It's a proposal, right?
It's just a proposal yet.
But they say it's patterned after something from Mexico, etc. They mentioned a few countries that have done this,
And it
coding
worked.
scheme.
Is that what they're saying, that
No.
it worked? No.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, we are the first to think of it. There's a reason for that. Have you ever wondered why? We should send them over to Africa to code the animals. Zebra crossings. Anyway, no, that's dumb. Here's my suggestion. I proposed one ridiculous thing before about even raising the gas price.
Raising the gas.
But then,
Are you still sticking with
well,
that, James?
I learned a lot from putting that out there. So while I still agree that we should be paying more for the privilege of driving our cars, because we have to understand that driving is a privilege, not a right. The right to transportation, I would agree, should be a civil right. We should all have access to the right to travel, meaning that there should be a good public transportation system. If you choose to bring your own vehicle, then you should have to pay for the privilege. And I don't think we're paying enough. But I don't think coding's the answer. Not like that. I would probably say what I learned from that is, okay, while in theory some people agreed with me, not everyone, but there were some people who agreed with it. Where it fell short was if we're going to raise the gas prices to deter people from using their cars senselessly, so you're only going to use it when you really need it, and that extra money would go to the taxes that would pay for the. So we're in effect subsidizing. You want to drive your personal car? No problem, my man. But you're going to have to spend more so that you subsidize all of these other public transportation system. Everyone just seemed to have a problem with, yes, in theory, it works. The problem is, that money's not going to go there.
You're right.
I'm thinking, okay, so here's what I learned from that scheme.
Okay.
By putting it out there and, getting a lot of feedback from people on Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff. Why not? Let's say we would need money to do this, build the infrastructure, because they'll say it's a chicken and the egg. If you make the thing, then people use it, but we don't have the money. Why don't we, let's say, I don't know if this is possible, borrow from the World Bank. But the World Bank give us the money based on that loan agreement that they take the taxes from the fuel. In other words, we put our government out, we sidestep the government. It goes straight to a private organization, either like ADB, World Bank, whatever, UN, UNICEF, it doesn't matter. And they're the ones who say, okay, on this business model, I can see that if you collect 500 million pesos a day extra in taxes, that would go to reservicing this loan. That means we could propose this, and it's a private deal.
That's
no
correct.
different to giving
right.
a bank a guarantee, saying this is what I earn and this is why I want to borrow, like that. That's one. Number two, that way, because what I don't want, people say, why don't you just make the registration costs higher or the COE? But that penalizes far too many people because
That's correct.
the entrance fee to getting a car becomes ridiculous. Now, it's not just that you've denied me a privilege, you're going to hurt an industry. I think the car industry should be kept going. I think it's great that the car industry is growing. So don't deny them access to buy the vehicle, but limit the amount of usage. So it's reasonable to buy it, but you think twice about using, do I really need to go into the city today, or can I just wait till my sister comes home, we'll go together and save? Because when gas is so cheap, we tend to just
Drive.
Drive and
so
don't care about
that's
the
one.
expenses.
Or we can have this or is the congestion charges. At certain times, like London is a congestion charge. You want to go into London, you want to drive your car in there, fine. You have to pay a congestion charge. EDSA, there should be a congestion charge that works on different times of the day. If you want to travel off-peak,
So
you don't.
are you proposing that it's going to be like a toll gate in
No,
in
it
every part?
cannot be a toll gate. It has to be all wireless, like
okay, I see.
Singapore, and you don't stop in London to pay a congestion
Yeah,
charge
you're
because
right.
you're going to cause
It's
congestion.
just that I think that's
to
every
pay.
month. Every month, right? That's what,
Every time you enter, there's cameras that pick it up and they
okay.
just relay back, and you have a balance like an e-pass type of thing. And
okay. They just send you the
yeah.
bill. Yeah.
And that's how Singapore does it with their highway system as well. I don't want to be as controlled as Singapore, but I think we can all agree anything's better than what's going on now.
But that would be great in a place where everything works.
That's the thing. We need somebody to spend first on because I have no problem catching public transport. I'm sure you
Same
don't,
here,
because
yeah.
every time we travel abroad together, we're the first ones on the MRTs and the trams and
That's
wherever
right,
we go,
yeah.
right? Anywhere we go, Australia or even Thailand. Hey, we wouldn't dream of jumping in a cab. We just jump on the BART. and all
But that's
that.
something to fix here as well, because we all know that the
Yeah.
MRT and the LRT are not the
among other
type
things.
of trains that you
Exactly.
just want to hop on because
But then
it's such a hassle.
Another thing that before we even discuss congestion charges and raising gasoline price and all that, nobody, and I'll look into the camera. I says nobody will take anything seriously. Anything you propose, MMDA, LTO, any of you guys, nobody will take you seriously until you do something about the buses. It's as simple as that. That's numero uno.
Let's
That's the
single them
first
out.
step. That's it. Exactly. Because no matter what harebrained scheme you come up with, until you can solve the bus problem and just somebody put their foot down and say, okay, I don't care if it's owned by generals or policemen or I don't care. Somebody, if it has to go up to the president's level because you're all too scared, then bring it up to that level, because it's a microcosm of everything that's wrong with not just our roads, but in
Not
general.
only the buses, the jeepneys
the
as well.
buses and the jeepneys.
Everything.
Those are really the number one problem here in the metro. The buses and the jeepneys.
Because everyone complains out, says, oh, Filipinos are so undisciplined. I completely beg to differ, because once you see them overseas, they're the ones playing ball the whole time.
Just go to
Exactly.
Subic or just go to
Yes,
That's
in places
exactly what
where
my
they have
detour is all
strict-
about. It's all about proper enforcement.
exactly. You just see one crack, and of course, that's in our nature. If I see one guy getting away with counterflowing, well, why am I going to sit like an idiot here
Exactly.
for an hour while this guy is not just getting away with it, it's being encouraged and rewarded at the end because the MMDA is calling him through, or the buses are weaving in and out. Of course, I'm not going to behave
Yeah.
like. So it's anarchy. It's total anarchy. You just solve the bus problem, and we've pitched so many things about the bus already. We won't want to go there anymore, but.
But I really don't know what the hell happened to the yellow line. If we just follow that rule that the buses stay inside that yellow line, traffic is definitely going to improve. But
And you have to have the right amount of buses.
That's
on
right.
EDSA. You cannot
we have
have
too many buses. You
It's-
see them like 1/3 full or less.
Yeah.
and can you imagine all those buses that pay the cops just to be able to park in those
Some of them
pickup
are
points?
the cops, remember, that are
Yeah.
own the thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just, that's why it needs a higher authority. It cannot be MMDA, because this is,
They tried it already so many times, and just
even Bayani Fernando, for all his faults, one thing is he was a tough
Yeah.
nut. And he did put his foot down with the buses, the sidewalk vendors, to the point of a fault already.
Yep.
But with the buses, he's still, as tough as he was, as crazy as he was, he couldn't work his way past the LTFRB. They just wouldn't support it. So he can, you don't want to be walking in to a gunfight with a spoon, and that's what really is happening. So that's why, as much as we criticize MMDA and all that, when we had Attorney Eves here, we realized a lot of things. So one
there's
is,
so many problems. Like
Yes.
even if they want to ban the tricycles, let's say in the Katipunan area,
Or the
you'd
jeeps.
say that they can't do that because the local government allowed
you're
those
overruled
to be
by
there.
local government.
Yep.
That's
So yeah,
right.
you're pretty much set up to fail. I'm not saying that the coding system, that's a different thing. That's really nuts. But basically, you cannot give a person a position like that and then not empower them, because when you say the source of the problem is this, and then everyone just says, well, don't touch that because my friend owns this, my friend owns
selective. It's not going to work.
that.
Yeah, so they try the iron hand approach, but nah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so that was pretty big news, I guess, happening here in motoring while I was gone.
That's
But
right.
You should see. I mean, I'm surprised I'm actually complaining now about, because when you come from Africa, dude, we don't have a lot to complain about here. It's
Well, actually, I thought the problem there was traffic.
in Africa.
Yeah, the absence of it.
No, are you kidding?
No, I meant the savannah or something.
Well,
Yeah, but-
once you get into there, that's fine. But when we hit like little the towns.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, it's horrendous traffic. Horrendous.
Makes you feel
Why
good
is
about
that?
Horrendous, huh?
Because of their traffic light.
There's just no system. The roads are all, it's every man for himself. It's just chaos.
Is it basically just like driving in Capo? Basically the same?
No, it's 10 times worse.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's 10 times worse. I didn't realize, because so we joined the group. I went to join a group. I was one of 2 international journalists that were flown to Africa to do the Ranger Odyssey. The Ranger Odyssey is basically a program that Ford developed, which is a great idea. They're basically looking for a brand ambassador for their car. And they want an everyday person.
Not a celebrity, right?
Not a celebrity. They want somebody that's girl or guy next door.
How do you get picked there to join that
It's tough.
Odyssey?
Yeah, you first you write in and you say why you should be picked, etc. So they'll go through that screening process. They'll look at your profile. They'll look at who you are, whatever, and then if you fit their demographic and all the basics, Then they invite you in for further evaluation. Then you're stripped down to ends up in a boot camp. 20 people are brought into a boot camp.
And this
Incredible.
how many days? This like a 20,
The boot camp
20
is, I think, 3 days.
3 days.
And you stay there in the boot camp, and they teach you four-wheel driving, how to four-wheel drive, how to camp, how to survive outside, all that stuff. Now, only 10 will be picked from there. So they end up with 10.
Okay.
These 10 are now going out with a group called The Rust. The Rust is a South African-based adventure junkie type of.
Wow.
They specialize in expeditions and tours and safaris and stuff.
In other words, hardcore guys.
Hardcore. They're all ex-special
I'm
ops
pretty
guys.
sure that's expensive too. If you
All special ops, like paratroopers, special ops policemen, and they're all friends, and they all joined, and they put this company together, and they basically handle their biggest account is Ford. They teach their customers, they do workshops for the Ranger owners and dealers, etc. And then they pitch this idea to Ford, or they were toying around with this idea of how to market the new Ranger when it came in. And then they came up with this, and this is one of their many things that they're doing. So the 10 people now go out, and they drive through 21 days, 6 countries, 8,000 kilometers. And they're out in the bush. So they have to camp, they have to be self-sufficient, and they're with the rest people. So the special ops guys are with them, so they're learning and all that. And they're being evaluated. It's all subjective.
Oh, okay.
There's no race, there's no nothing. There's just, they're watching how they work with each other, how they work as a team. Do they get the brand? Do they get the lifestyle? And they're looking for that one person that you and I can relate to, or basically this is South Africa only, right? Yeah, I could be that person. I'm not, if a super fit athlete wanted to be like, yeah, well, of course, right? But a mother of 3, you'd be like, yeah, okay, well, she wasn't hardcore until she got a Ranger, so she's able to do all this stuff.
Wow.
So they had an incredible experience. So we joined for the last 5 or 6 days, and I landed in Mozambique. And
Mozambique.
This is the Deakinitis part.
yeah, this is part of it. This is part of the Deakinitis part. This is just when it
So
starts.
it begins. All right.
This is how it starts for me. 30 plus hours traveling through. I'm going through Hong Kong, Johannesburg. In Johannesburg, it's a 6.5 hour stop waiting for the Mozambique Air, which I call Mozzie Air, because it looks like a big mosquito and it sounds just like one. And we're going to a malaria-infested country,
There
right?
you go. Okay.
So, and there's I'm thinking 6.5 hours after you come off a 20-odd hour trip. I was so tired, but I thought, I looked around and I found a lounge that you could pay. So I paid the lounge, and I thought, it works out to $1,000. I thought, that's not bad, right? For Wi-Fi and some food and
Okay.
be left alone.
All right.
But it's kind of like Victoria Court. It's every 2 hours.
What?
It's a 2-hour thing, so
Oh,
you
okay.
can't stay there forever.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Ow.
So
For
af-
what? How much?
After 2 hours, they were like, okay, if you want to stay, you got to pay more. It's like a motel. So
2 hours only.
so they kicked me out, and I was there waiting there for Mozzie Air. Get on the plane, fly over, land in Mozambique. Now, I was telling Alan this story in the parking lot. Picture the most rural Philippine airport you've ever been to.
Yeah.
Burn it down, and you'll come close to something similar. And the funny part is this airport's called Inhumban, which is just a B short of inhuman. It's actually if you take the B out, it's inhumane airport. And so I land there, and it's arrivals and departures, just one hall, and it's no bigger than my lounge room, and I don't have a big house, so it's the people leaving and the people arriving are all sort of squishing through each other. The waiting area is made up of old chairs that they found from like cars.
Cars, okay.
Yeah, like old cars that were bad. So you'll see like maybe a high ace chair there in the corner, all twisted
Okay,
up.
so they had different seats there.
It's mix and match, baby.
Oh my God.
It's mix
So were
and
you
match.
like, that is crazy.
Hold me. So I was in line, and there's one immigration officer, just one guy, and his counter looks like it was an old food cart, that he used to sell fish balls or something.
Here's how it starts.
Well,
And-
his name is L.A.
I think it's a different part of Africa because these guys are Portuguese in Mozambique. They all speak Portuguese. So I line up and I hand over my passport, and the guy goes, he flicks through. You can't come in. I said, what? What do you mean? You can't come in. I said, why? You have no space in your passport. I know I sound a little Austrian now.
You sound like
basically,
Arnold.
for lack of a better accent, you can't come in. It's hard
out now.
It's hard to sustain the African accent. But so he says, you can't come in. And I said, why? He said, you don't have a space in your passport for the. Can I just speak normally? You don't have space in your passport for a visa. I said, I was told I can just get a stamp on arrival. You need a full page.
Oh.
And I was like, but next. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. And then the guy from Ford, I was traveling with this, he met him on the plane only. He's not really PR. He's social media. He handles his social media, the Facebook page, etc.
Right.
And I guess he just took on the role as, okay, I'll meet the press. I'll take care of him. But he's like half my age, right?
Yeah.
Oh my.
And very inexperienced. I don't think he's ever been out of South Africa.
And very paranoid too.
And
That's what
very paranoid. So he sees, what's going on? What's going on? I said, well, he won't let me into the country. It's like, you're right there. You know, and he was like, short of CPR. Oh my God! Now I got to take care of this guy.
Yeah.
And he's panicking. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so he asked the guy, and he doesn't speak the same language, right? Because
Yeah.
they speak Portuguese. So he's like, what do we do? He said, he's got to get out. And he said, where? I don't care. He's not coming into my country. And he said, I don't know what to do. I said, it's not about you. Just sit down. Let me solve it. So I'm sitting there. Now, the next part, I got to be a little careful how I explain.
I think you can't say that, Jay. We talked about you're gonna
Right.
get in trouble.
It's a full passport, right? There's no space in it. There's definitely no free page.
There's no way around it, Jay.
Basically, when I went back, there was a free page. And there's one guy, so it's not like you're lining up in a different line. So you give your passport, and the guy's like, what could possibly be different now? Sure, holy, there's a free page.
What did you do?
Patiently.
Oh my God, I can't believe you said that.
I didn't say anything. So,
Okay.
I mean, I just...
You saw one page.
There was a
one
page.
blank page. Then
So he looks at me and he goes, okay, and let's just say $150 later, welcome to Mozambique, Mom.
Does this look like a old page to you?
So now...
$150.
Yeah,
Wow.
then the guy from Ford, or the social media guy, was like, he was kicking me like, you don't have to. I said, it's cheaper than the flight back to Johannesburg, and the next flight's like in 3 days, and I will be kept here in quarantine
Yeah. Oh my
in
gosh.
Inhumane Airport.
That's right.
Look, 150 is a bargain, man. I
Exactly,
wouldn't even
yeah.
throw him a tip. So then we left, and we went and we checked into our hotel and all that. That was day one. Okay.
There's so many horror
We haven't
stories.
even started yet. So that's day one. And then, so the next day we pick up the Australian journalist and the president of Ford South Africa meet us there at Inhumane Airport. So we pick him up, and you're standing outside the terminal, but you can actually just stick your hand this much and you can tap the immigration guy because it's jalousies, and I mean it's small. So of course when the guy comes in, there's this guy from Ford jumping up and down going, have you got a free page? Have you got a free page? The hell's this guy up to? Have you got a free page? Of course I have a free page. Who wouldn't travel with a free page in their passport? I was like, I'm still in the room, man. Oh, sorry. Yeah, fresh wound, buddy. Just keep going. So he goes in, and now he gets his stamp, and the guy charges him $85. And he's like, what
This is
for?
just extortion.
For the stamp. $85
My
bucks. Are you
gosh,
serious?
man.
Oh, so the guy from Ford's handing money. It's like the African ATM. He's handing money through the window.
That's better than $150.
So he gives him $100, right?
Yeah.
So he takes $100 and gives him the $100. Next. I thought you said it was 85. Next. But I gave you. Next. So the president of Ford South Africa is behind going, maybe he doesn't have $15, right? But he's got like 20s and stuff. So he goes up there, $85 as well. Yeah, 85. So he gives him 105. Next. But next. But I gave next. Can I at least have the 5 back? So then we go. So now we're checked in, and we're in Mozambique, and we do our drive. The drive is fantastic. I mean, we're going through incredible terrain. We're seeing just magical sunsets. It's just it's breathtaking. I've never seen
How long was the
wonderful
drive per day,
beaches
James?
in the
Do
world.
you start like what time? Do you start like 5
6
a.m.?
a.m. Yeah,
And then
usually.
you finish nighttime?
Sometimes 4 a.m. for those guys. They would drive
Wow.
16 hours a day.
Wow.
Sometimes it was a little less, but sometimes 16 hours a day. Then on top of that, the civil war broke out in Mozambique.
Okay.
While I was there. Typical,
Wow.
yeah. He doesn't have a page. This is serious. So, no, in northern Mozambique, so they had to divert the route down. So that really screwed up a lot of plans and added a lot of mileage, and that made 16-hour drive days and stuff. So you're driving from darkness to darkness. With ours, they were a little bit easier on the journalists. So they were like,
James had a room.
I got a room.
He's the only
I
one who
brought
had a
my-
room.
No, but
No kidding.
the thing is, I had my camping equipment, but I think our social media friend, because I don't want to call it PR because it's not really fair to the
Right.
profession.
Okay.
He's a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a really heart of gold, really great guy. But that's not, just a nervous wreck, and you can't be that in PR. So he, I think, had arranged everywhere that the journalists have to have a room. The journalists have to have a room. And I was like, here I was saying, I'm going to rough it up and all that. Eventually, I was pitching a tent in my room because, I just didn't want to go back home saying I didn't sleep in the tent. So, and then room service,
Yeah.
But no. Don't get me wrong. The rooms were really, really, really rustic. As in the bed is cement. As in pure cement. It's just one big block of cement and then a little mattress. No electricity and no running water. No running water when there's no electricity. They have electricity, but it's always out. So it's still rough. It's still roughing it up. So now we're driving through the African countryside. It is gorgeous, and then we're going from Mozambique to these other provinces and villages, and it's the rangers just tortured, and I was like, I couldn't believe, and I've been through the launch of the Ranger, yet seeing it like that. Because usually in a launch, they'll let you do a little bit control.
Off-roading, yeah.
This is, you're really going somewhere. And 8,000 kilometers later, the car is just getting a beating. There's just no, you're driving some days 150 kilometers on sand. That's it. For a 150 kilometer stretch.
Incredible.
Sand.
You guys support vehicles with you?
Yeah, there's 11 vehicles all in all. And 8 are the Odyssey Challenge. Some are catering.
Yeah.
Some are camera crew. Some are, but all Rangers. So all recovery vehicles are Rangers. There are winches and stuff like that, shovels and the whole bit. So then we get to the whatchamacallit stage. Then they faced their deadliest challenge yet, karaoke. That was really wild because it was the first time they were allowed to really drink. And
my gosh.
they had someone to teach them, and so they were
What an
just
ambassador.
Yeah, everyone woke. They gave it was so bad that they let everyone start at 9 a.m. the next day because of us, because of our karaoke party. Anyway, so we're now traveling through. What else happened? Oh yeah, okay. So this is
the
Deakinitis.
Deakinitis.
This is
Yeah.
Deakinitis now.
Number 2.
Number two.
Number 2.
So now we're going through some place and it's just unbelievable. We're on the roof racks of the car and just seeing the scenery and just traveling slowly through whatever. And then boom, we got bogged, as in heavily, seriously bogged. All of a sudden the ground just opened up. And in Africa, it's weird. You could be in the most remote place on like what looks like hundreds of miles of nothing. As soon as you stop your car, guaranteed within 5 minutes, there's a family up there of 5. And then more. I don't know where they come from. They'll just turn up.
Because they're asking for money?
No, they're curious.
Oh, they're just curious.
They're just
Another extortion scheme here.
so they're just checking it out. So we got stuck, really badly stuck. And then it got to the point there were winching vehicles and they were recovering the recovery vehicle already.
Ooh.
It got really intense. And so I went out to take my photos and stuff. So I was taking photos and then I couldn't help, but all of a sudden I felt like up to here in mud.
Okay.
I only had one pair of shoes, and those shoes were just pure mud.
Okay.
And I was like, the feeling of squishy shoes, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is so
And-
gross. So eventually, at the end of the day, so you just work with it. But then when we got back, when we recovered the vehicles and we went the other way, we got back in the car, and I thought I took off my shoes and I tied them to the the roof rail.
Here it comes.
Wow, that's explosive.
Because I had to dry them out. I had no
Yeah, of
other
course.
shoes. But we drive through the night now, so they don't dry at night. So the next day I checked, they're still soggy.
So what
I
were
said-
you wearing? Slippers?
At the I
No?
didn't have anything. I didn't
Oh
have
my
slippers.
gosh.
So I went through my bag and I said, surely I usually every time I go, I steal the hotel slippers, right?
Slippers, yeah.
And sure enough, I found one, a pair of fluffy.
That's awkward in Africa. You've got that
Exactly,
hotel slipper.
exactly. In Africa, you got these, and they were the really fluffy type. It was a nice hotel, the fluffy type, but really thin
Yeah.
soles and all that. I mean, they're hotel slippers. So I'm wearing that. I'm gonna be in the car anyway. Nobody will know, and who cares? So I'm sitting now in the car, and I wanted to get some water, and so the whole convoy saw me because our PR guy from Ford, he bought some water at the gas station, but then we had to leave the convoy, and so in short, I didn't get my water. So I was trying, and the special ops guys, you don't want to mess with them, right? When they say go, you go.
Yeah.
You just go, and
Because
he
they're following
hates
a schedule.
stopping.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
hate stopping. They just don't stop the convoy. So I was parched, and I just really wanted my water. We hit traffic, and I thought I can make it. So I ran out, and we were one of the front cars, so I had to run past 11 cars, all of them seeing me running through the streets of Africa with my
bloody slippers, yeah.
Okay, so they're all laughing and seeing my slipper. So who cares? It's just us anyway, right?
I'm thirsty.
And besides, I've seen, these guys have been roughing it. So yeah, but they were laughing, but it's no big deal. And I'm with the Australian journalist who's cracking up, but it's okay. It's nothing. It's just us. So then I get my water, walk back. So now everyone sees me with my slippers. And then there was a change of plans. We were supposed to go to the Ford dealer in Maputo, which is the capital. But we bypassed that. And instead of that, we are going to now skip straight to the main event, and we will drive to meet the mayor of Maputo. And I thought, okay, well, that's no big deal. I will just sort of hang back and look and get my shoes, and it'll be all okay.
And then your shoes weren't there anymore. Is that what you're
my
saying?
shoes were there,
Okay.
but it was in the last car because you switch cars. So now I'm in
Oh,
the front.
okay.
Okay.
So I said, it's no big deal. I can still do this, What I didn't realize, and I'll show you a picture of, I have to show you a picture of this. We pull up to the steps of City Hall.
Okay.
Right there at the steps of City Hall is the red carpet and the mayor
Okay.
and the TV crew.
Okay.
And I'm the first car. And it stops, and they open the door to
And you have
welcome
to
you.
get out.
And I had to get out. You want to just see how I came out of there? I will show you. First, I will try and show you the scene so that you can actually picture what picture the. Okay.
What you experienced in Africa.
First, this is the. This is the view of the slippers. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So that's what my slippers look like.
Looks good on you, James.
And now we are going to. Okay. This is. So we pull up there. Sorry, it's in the shadows, but there's the Rangers in City Hall. That's my car. Eventually got parked on the steps. The camera crew waiting. See, that's the TV crew. There's where I had to hop out from.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
so red carpet. All right, now we will just show you. The Australian journalist took a photo of me hopping out of the car. If you just bear with me for a second, it's right here. Talk among yourselves. By time.
No, we're so
You're waiting for
we're so focused on this story already.
suspense.
Okay.
The grand welcome for the Airpods Chinelas.
And this, okay.
There's just so many pictures there. That's why
know.
you're having a hard time looking for that.
There are quite a few pictures
Yeah,
here.
please don't tell me that's the only thing you brought in Africa.
Yeah, this is why.
No, he did, but that's the one that he used most of the time. I'm just kidding, James.
I did use this quite a lot.
Yeah, more pictures in his iPhone than his DSLR. Great job,
Snapseed, baby,
Incredible.
Snapseed.
Incredible.
Snapseed rocks. It's here somewhere.
Okay, the punchline is gone.
Here we go. It's gone. Okay, it's gone. So this is how I have to meet the mayor of Maputo City. In this, I step out like that, and the whole camera crew are there, and they have to see me walk out with these slippers. So now I'm mighty pissed off at our PR guy. I don't know why, but just because. You want to see our PR guy? Here's our PR guy. Nice guy, but He's the smaller one on the left. That's him.
Oh, okay.
He looks like a panicker, no?
Yeah.
This is the type of thing. I'll give you an example of how he panics. He said, we get out of our rooms one morning, and he'll be knocking on the door. Like if it's a 6:30 meet, he'll be knocking by 6 a.m. and he'll be like, "Hi guys, you okay? You ready?" And he'll be saying, yeah, but 6:30, right? Okay. And then 6:05, I'll come, "Hi guys, everything okay?" And we like, "Yeah, we'll meet you outside 6." Okay. Then 6 every 5 minutes. Just checking if everything's all right. Everything's all right. So we're like, we're
Talk about good service.
we're fine, all right. So on the last one, I was like, about 6:25. I said to the stranger, I said, "You want to screw with him? You want to really mess with his head?" And he said, "How?" He said, "The next time he comes, let's just be back in bed." Because this is the kind of thing. We get out of our room. This is just his personality. You get out of the room and you say. The Australian journalist just made a comment. He said, "Oh, it looks like it rained last night." "Yes, I'm very sorry about that." "Why are you sorry? How can you be sorry about that?" So you know what we did to the poor guy?
Yeah.
This is really mean. We'll tell you after the break. We got to take a commercial break. Oh, by the way, you can always call us on 478-7954 if you want to chat with us. We'll take a break. Somebody's got to win this OtterBox after the break. So here it is. All right, there you go. Someone's got to win that. How do they do it again? They can call up.
Yeah, that's 478-7954. Actually, you mentioned Twitter as well.
Yeah, you can hit us up
Facebook.
on,
We're just going to be deciding.
At JDeacon72 if you want to interact and just, we'll just pick one randomly or the most interesting caller, etc.
You can check your Facebook.
I'll just check.
James.
I haven't turned Twitter on, so make sure that's on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can look at the date, or maybe the first one that texted.
Well,
no.
We'll have some kind of. They have to do something, right? So at the end of the trip, we decide to play a little joke on
the guy,
our guy, because he was always worrying. So when we come out of Mozambique, we drive through to South Africa. We have to stop at the border again, and the same drama happened with the passport, but they were able to solve it. I didn't even show up. Then when we entered South Africa, same thing happened again.
Wow.
So, but the borders of Africa are really wild, as in like really, really wild. That you can take you anywhere from 30 minutes to get through to 3 days, and that's no lie.
Oh,
and the thing is, there's no way to gauge, because if you just get the wrong guy, he just makes life difficult for you. Like our instructor, he was there in his recon.
Yeah.
They did the recon they did the recon 5 times.
Okay.
For this thing. Imagine 8,000 kilometers. They did the recon 5 times just to make sure everything was okay.
Wild.
In one of the borders, I think it was Tanzania, 2.5 days he was there. Basically, because the guy, he turns up and you get the wrong guy and he says, "Unpack everything in your car." And when you have a full convoy of, so they unpack everything,
gosh.
like everything, and he lays it down on the floor. When he finishes, he goes back to the office. He says, "Okay, I'm unpacked. Where's so and so?" "Oh, he left an hour ago."
Oh my God.
And it's like, "Well, can someone check?" "Oh, no. And then you have to wait till the morning, so you sleep in your car. Then you wake up and there's 100 people around you. He said, always going to be 100 people standing around your car looking in, always. And then, so the same guy comes back and goes, "I thought I told you to unpack your car." "I did yesterday, but if you start arguing, it can get ugly." And this guy was telling me, and he's special ops. He said one time he got fed up. He had an argument. It ended up with he broke the guy's jaw, and he was locked up for 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks
my gosh.
in jail. So he said basically the borders are very, very, very sensitive. And although Mozambique is considered a very easy country to get into versus Tanzania and all these other places, he was explaining to us that just stick with me, just be, and don't deal with anyone except us and whatever, and don't take any pictures. You will be arrested. It's really, really hardcore. So
That's only in the airport, right?
it's a border crossing.
Border crossing.
Yeah, so you're on
you can't
the
take
cars.
pictures there.
In the border
Okay,
crossing,
in the border
yeah.
crossing. Okay.
Or you can't take pictures of anyone in uniform in general.
Okay.
Even if you take a picture of a person, you have to ask them, because they'll say you're taking their soul. But for 50 rand,
Yeah, you can take my soul.
Yeah, I've sold my soul, baby.
Come on, brother soul.
He's all
50
sold
off.
out. We're sold out here. So we get to the board. We finish the border crossing. Okay, there's a bit of a drama again with the border, with the stamp and all this, and not enough space. But long story short, we get through. But we're all sort of separate and separate cars. We have different team leaders doing because we're so many people. And then we cross to South Africa and everything's good. So we're driving along and we're totally cool. And I'm with George, the special ops guy who looks like Lee Majors, and he's just a very serious guy. I had never saw him crack one smile the whole trip. And, everyone was sort of giving this poor Ford guy a hard time because he was just so, and we're in such rugged land and he's just so fragile, So, and he's supposed to be taking care of everyone and he's the one just frazzled all the time.
Yeah.
So I decided to play a little joke. I said, oh, you know what? When we get, I was talking to the Australian journalist behind me. I said, you know what, Richard? When we get to the camp, this is the last day anyway, right? How about we play a little joke on this guy? I'll just walk up to him casually and just say, hey, man, by the way, can I get my passports back? And he'll say, well, what do you mean? And then we'll just play along. And that's the only time the special ops guy, George, started talking. Okay, this is how it's going to go down. He starts playing. He wants to be involved in this little joke. So he says, you walk up to him and you ask him where your passport is. And man, we cornered the guy we were having a bonfire already on the last night. We're drinking already. I said, oh, by the way, could I grab my passport back? Because we're leaving tomorrow. And he was like, what? Why? What do you mean? I don't have your passports. And then the special ops guy, why don't you have their passports? Oh, he's like, what? Because I don't. And he said, why would I have your passports? Because the guy said that you were asking for it. What guy? The fixer guy. You're not supposed to deal with the fixer. Well, you didn't tell me that in the special. You didn't tell him that. And this poor guy was just like standing in a puddle of his own. Like, what the hell, you guy? Eventually, they cracked. And we just had a good
Poor
old
guy,
laugh.
man.
Poor guy. Anyway, it gets crazy there.
You're
but,
mean, James.
I gotta leave something. Yeah, we were really mean. But we gotta leave something for the magazine. So what else happened here? What did I miss?
Artie, what happened to you?
I came from Siargao. It was a fantastic.
That's the Hyundai event, right?
Hyundai Santa Fe event.
Did they bring the
8 SUVs?
8 SUVs
Yeah,
there.
mid-sized SUVs to Siargao, the surfing capital of the
all of them
Philippines.
the Santa Fe's, or were there other?
All Santa Fe's. Even
Santa
the chase vehicles for Santa Fe's. Well, of course, they got some Star X's out there
Okay.
right from the island. But then again, our convoys of media
So
people.
it's an island.
Yep.
Surigao an island.
It's actually Surigao, right? Surigao.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a surfing place, right? A
Yeah.
lot of people, a lot of the
How big's
foreigners
the
go
island?
there.
It is very well close to unspoiled. So you go around the entire island and it looks the same. All the houses are made of pawid. You know what pawid is?
Yeah, it's like a.
But there is electricity there, right?
Yeah, of course. But the signal for mobile phones, internet, they're all iffy. Even the electricity.
I'm
Just
even,
like in
even
Manila.
Manila.
Okay.
Anyway,
With
How
some
many days was
providers.
this event, Artie?
3 days,
3
July
days.
3 to 5, and then Hyundai organized a little video competition, so everybody was like so excited to take photos and video everywhere.
Did they announce the winner yet?
Not yet, but all the entries are there. 8 videos, 8
All
groups.
right. I got
So-
my money on ours.
Yeah. Don't preempt. I hope. But we did put a lot of effort into those videos, and
I'm sure.
everywhere you look, it's pretty scenic.
How big is this island? Is it in?
They say if you just drive straight, it's like I don't know, like 9 kilometers or something. Not so big.
So it's smaller than Boracay.
I guess I would think so.
Yeah, okay.
But a lot more beautiful.
Really?
And, yeah, because
Even with the, how about the sand of Siargao?
oh,
Is it the
it's not
same?
like white, but the thing is the water's like a swimming pool. I mean, in terms of clarity and stuff. And everywhere you look, you drive around the island and it looks the same.
Oh, okay.
It's they have many resorts, right?
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yes, especially the one that we were in. We were at the Don Resort. It's called.
Dead on?
Yeah,
Dead
like
on?
Dead on.
Dead on,
But
okay.
you say it the Don.
Yeah, I think I heard about that one.
Yeah,
That
it's
was-
just like also like a abandoned,
Yeah, I see pictures on Facebook
I'm sorry,
that you
what?
guys were posting.
Right.
I saw.
Yeah. So
I couldn't get. Yeah, I was be lucky to send one, so I wasn't able
That's
to.
why I was
check.
wondering, how come James is not on Facebook?
Man,
That's just impossible.
you said Wi-Fi is more precious than water.
the
and
water.
food.
Yeah. I mean, the signal was. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, there. So they just put us through several exercises, learning how to surf and checking out the locals and the food and stuff like that. So
And the cars are good. The cars.
what cars? Oh yeah, the cars. Yeah, the cars. They were okay too. So yeah, of course we test drove them. They got nice roads and some very mild off road areas out there. So we were able to test the car.
So
And
they have nice driving roads there.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
wow.
It's
okay.
like, it reminds you of Tanay a little bit, minus
Wow.
the ups and downs, but lots of nice curves.
Wow.
So you get to test the vehicle and, different, comfort and sport settings.
Wow.
And the
Does the
power.
new Santa Fe have the same engine as the previous generation?
They say it's
I
pretty
was just
similar.
worried.
Yeah, it's a
They just upgraded
it's a
what?
197 horsepower version. I
Yeah,
think, now.
2.2 liter diesel.
Yeah, it's I think that this is the all new one now with 197.
2.3?
2.2.
2.2?
Very torquey.
Yeah.
Very torquey.
Same one they use in the Sorrento.
I think the previous generation had a 2.2 as well. But this is a tweaked version,
Yes,
is that
it's
what
like-
you're saying?
It's like a higher pressure turbo, if I'm
Turbo,
not
okay.
mistaken,
I
and
see.
that delivers a bit better torque and
Yes,
horsepower as well. Did anyone get to see the new Vios? Is it did
The
they,
new Vs, well, I've seen it
sorry,
in
driven
Bangkok
it?
Motor Show, but
It's
I've
been launched.
I've never
But
driven it yet.
anyone get
It
to
has
drive
been
it?
launched.
But
Not
it
yet, not
still
me
has
yet.
the same engine as the VVTi engines, the 1.3 and the 1.5.
I saw
Pretty
one
much
on the
same.
road today. I saw one.
But
yeah.
What do you think?
you gotta admit that it looks fantastic.
The
It's
front-
so
front
much
looks
better
really
than the
good.
previous generation.
Yeah.
The
We had
front
a
looks
previous
really
generation.
good.
Yeah,
So they have
front
this
looks-
new look going on that's sort of like consistent with the rest of the other.
Yeah, it looks like an
models.
Altis, but the rear, I don't know.
I think-
When I look at the rear, I think of Subaru. Every time I see the
Really?
rear.
Or they're a little bit
It's like
related.
an-
So
yeah.
Yeah, they are a bit related. But the one I saw I think was a base model, so it just really needed bigger rims.
Of course,
I
yeah.
mean, like really bigger.
You
The
usually
body
the-
looks so much bigger.
usually
Well,
the cars
I guess
of,
that's the underlying theme with these subcompacts, especially from.
But what's
from
great,
Toyota.
James, is when they launched the Vios, they had the TRD version, which had the bigger
Oh,
rims
okay.
with all the body, the
Yeah,
skirts
I
and
saw the one in
spoiler.
Bangkok they had a racing
Yep.
version of it and it looked really really good.
Nice,
Awesome,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So did you go to any launches or something?
No, that was the only launch that I was able to go to. But I've been working, been shooting. We're doing a Comparo. It's going to come out in C. So I got to drive most of the available CUVs in the market. And I was just impressed with... Have you driven the Mazda CX-5?
No, I haven't, but I've driven the. Is that the 4x4 version?
The 4x4 version.
I mean, I've driven the older.
The new one.
the new one. I'm
The
just
older
surprised
CX.
because
Oh,
it's
actually,
got a...
no, I did. We did the test with the Alzera. Remember the Alzera? That was
Oh,
our
yeah.
chase.
So that was a
vehicle?
4x4.
That was already the
CX-5.
4x4, yeah.
What I'm impressed about the CX-5 is the handling. But I really can I talk about it already?
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
coming out
yeah,
in C. But we took him out in Clark,
Yeah.
and then we had the long track and the short track, and we timed all the CUVs there.
Who's driving?
And it was, of course, George driving. I was
Okay.
just shooting, but I was able to ride with him. And the fastest in the short track, surprisingly, was the Mazda CX-5. But for the long track, of course, it was the Forester Turbo because of the
gosh.
turbo.
Yeah, but I'm still
But
surprised.
I'm
even.
surprised. Yeah,
I'm surprised.
Wow.
And
That-
plus, for a 2.5 engine, it's thrifty. I was just
no, I'm
floored.
really surprised.
That thing
Yeah.
is quick, huh?
Yeah, it is quick.
Nice.
When you're putting up against a Forester XT,
Right.
XT.
Turbo.
But the new XT doesn't have the 2.5 liter anymore.
No,
It's got
but-
the 2 liter.
but
But they
it's
say
still-
that it's stronger than the 2.5.
yes,
Right.
and then but the
Smoother.
CVT is also probably not as aggressive,
More
Very
refined.
nice.
That's
Yeah,
why. Yeah, it takes
'Cause
out the
usually-
drama.
Yeah, the 4-speed was always
Yep.
quite vocal about it. But
Yep.
that's awesome. That's really
pretty
cool.
good. Pretty good stuff. I really love the CX-5.
Oh
right.
yeah, and I was also all over the Philippines in the past few weeks with the XV, the Subaru XV.
Oh, okay.
So we went for
Oh
a few
yeah, I
days.
saw pictures of that. What's
Yeah. So-
what's the deal with that?
They call it the Subaru's XV Suburban Drive. So it being a crossover, and they sort of like take the media to different urban settings around the Philippines. So we
Where
went
was
to
this? Where was
Cebu,
this?
Davao, and then the last leg was Manila.
Okay.
Wow, yeah,
In just
yeah.
one go?
No.
Okay.
Different small media groups.
Oh,
but
alright.
I was there throughout the whole three legs.
Oh, I see.
Mhm.
Okay.
It was fantastic.
That's a nice car. I really like that car. Because
How about the fuel consumption of the XV? I'm just because
It was pretty good. I
it-
can't remember exactly mine,
mixed
but I
bag.
remember.
I have friends who own that crossover vehicle, and they say that it's thrifty. But there are some that say that it consumes a lot of gas. So I really don't know. Maybe it's your driving.
It's
style,
definitely
right?
the driving, but there's, when you come from the old Subaru, the previous model, I guess if you are used to that, you'll always say, wow, this is really good because it's a massive improvement.
But is it the same as the Impreza engine, the 2-liter?
It is the same,
It is.
but it's a CVT that makes a big difference.
Oh, I see.
It's a CVT, and that's a big.
The difference is that does this have 5-speed or 6-speed compared to back then?
It's 4. It was always a 4-speed.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then CVT as well.
They just improved it and tweaked
It's
it. Right?
contingency variable. So, all right. Well, we're getting the wrapping up signal. So,
Okay.
we haven't either picked up the phone or so we're gonna save the one for the whatchamacallit. Oh no, we did get some messages, but no, we need you to interact. All right.
Okay.
So these guys are not interacting. Well, there you go.
You mean I win it? So you mean I win it?
Yeah, I guess I already wins the OtterBox. He interacted the most.
By default.
Yeah, he was our best listener so far we've had on the show. What's coming up? There's a Fiesta launch coming up.
this
Yeah, that's
Thursday.
right.
This Thursday. There's
Tomorrow
also
there's Goodyear as well.
that's a wet weather tire, I think.
yeah.
And what else is on the cards for the whole week?
That's
I think
about
it's
it.
just the biggest news is the Fiesta.
That's right.
So that should be a lot
You've
of
seen
fun.
it, right?
Have you seen
Yeah.
the
What do you
front of
think?
the? No, it looks like an Aston. Yeah, you're
I was
right.
gonna say that.
Yeah,
exactly.
it really looks like an Aston Martin.
But it does look more masculine, more on the male gender than the last one. So it's like I'm more for the new one.
Were you able to drive it, James?
no,
Because
no.
we have.
C has driven.
I've
it,
had the
but-
previous. We have the previous generation,
Hmm.
but it's the same engine. But I don't know. The new one feels different.
So you've driven it?
Yeah, I've driven
okay,
it.
so you because
Yeah.
we had it, and I just
I
wasn't
was able
here.
to shoot it. I was able to drive it, and it's the same engine, but I don't know why it feels different. I mean, the torque and
Maybe it's lighter. Maybe they're using
I'm
lighter
really not sure because I didn't
components
have that much time to drive it. It was only with me for a couple of days.
Well, if you
But
were
that's
gonna,
what I noticed.
If you're going to describe the Fiesta's handling in one word, what would that be?
You know what? For a compact car, it's comfy, but at the same time, when you gun it,
Yeah,
it
it's-
handles really well.
Yeah, well,
But it's just the fuel consumption. is a
The fuel
little
consumption,
high.
that's a previous generation. But since this one has the same engine, but maybe they've tweaked it, but I haven't had it for a long time, so I wasn't able to complete
Same
the
gearbox?
fuel. I'm not so sure.
running the same gearbox.
But pretty much the same. But with our Fiesta S, I don't know why, but fuel consumption is pretty bad.
yeah, a
It
few
is.
people have been. When you say bad,
Even if you feather,
what's
even
bad?
if you like, it gets in the city around 7,
7.
8. If you're gonna compare to the other subcompacts, I think
Yeah.
what's the
they have a
displacement
better
again?
fuel. It's
1.6.
yeah,
1.6?
1.5,
They have 1.4 and 1.6.
1.4 and 1.6. Yeah.
Yeah, but yours is the
1.6,
Automax 1.6.
1.6.
All right. So okay, we got to leave it there. Next week we'll be probably talking about the Fiesta a bit more.
Yep.
And a whole bunch of other stuff. And well, it's come and join us. We'll be giving away the OtterBox again. So until then, James Deacon.
Alan.
And this is Artie.
All right.
Thanks for
Drive
having me,
safely,
guys.
everyone.